Welcome, it's Denise Cowell, Creative Memories Advisor in Ormond Beach, Florida, and we are again working on the 52 weeks of scrapbooking from the book. We are on today 41 to think about what we're going to do next year, but thanks for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's take a look at my desktop. So again, if you don't have the book, go to my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook page. We're doing vitamin C. And I really like the vitamin C collection. So what I kind of want to do today is I have a whole bunch of ideas here with vitamin C, and we might get to make a couple layouts. I've got one already done. In the book, it's using Sydney scenes. This could be like a lot of different kind of papers. You know, both of these are kind of like outdoor summery, watery type of paper, but this could be for like anything. You only need 4 sheets of designer paper. You need to have 2 that are the same for your base. So let's take a look what I have on my desk. And as I was mentioning last week, you know, we as advisors get an advisor sheet of how to pair the paper together. And so I kind of wanted to show you how we could make this so different by doing the same project recipe, but with different paper from the same collection. So I already have one done. The one that's on my desk here is actually the same paper that is used in the project recipe from Vitamin C. And this is another one from, during COVID. We're only going to be cutting 2 sheets. And then we're going to be making some borders. So here you can see I did use the seashells. The one that they have in the Sydney scenes, they have used the Monstera leaves. I also brought out the palm trees. I thought that one would be good. And then we also had like standalone palm trees where we could, well, maybe one of them we'll do with these 2 and make the embellishments with one. So let's take a look and pick which one we're going to start with. So these are the 2 sets of papers, and then what I used to do when I used to do Friday night in-person scrapbooking, I would make up project recipes for everybody to choose from. So kind of today we're going to be picking one. So in one of them, these would be the base 2, the 2 base, and the other one would be this. And what I might do is, like I said, I might do both of them. I'll do one with you, and then I'll do one off camera and show you. And we already have the 3rd one done. So I'm thinking, let's do this one and let's use the palm tree. When I do this one, maybe I'll use the Monstera leaves for this one, or look to see what else I have that goes with. That one's way too, I think this is way too, see, we could do that. That might work, but this for the base I'm thinking is way too dark, but we'll see when we cut it. Let's kind of see what's going. So first thing we always do is compare our cutting mat to make sure it's the same. We have a 1.5 inch frame on both sides, with a little ribbon cut at the bottom, and then our mats, and the rest is all mats. One border, that it's very simple layout. So these are going to be the 2 base pages. And again, once we get our other pieces, we can decide which way we want this paper to be. But that will be our base paper. And here you can see it's this wood tone. And then we have these 2. Again, they're going to be cut the same way. We just need to decide what we want on each side. So one side, I have a dark green and a light green. I think the light green is too light. The other one, we have this pink and this diamond. So I guess it's going to be the pink. So I think I want, well, they have the lighter one on the right. Because once we cut these, we are committed to that side, right? So we have to make sure which way we're going. And then you can see here, these are going to be opposite. So let's do it that way. Let's see what's going to happen. So the first thing that we're going to do is cut a 1.5 inch frame. Now this one, you might want to get something so you know which way you're cutting. I have some little thingies here. I want to cut this way and this way. This is how I want my frame to be. I want my frame to be like this, okay? Because we're going to use the rest of the inside. So it's going to be 1.5 inches. So I'm going to start, and we're going to not, actually, we're not doing a frame, we're doing an L. So I'm going to start here. So this piece, let's go back again. This piece is going to be here. So here's my upside down L that I'm doing. So I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to go right to the end here, go 1.5 inches. And then we're going to stop at 1.5 inches, right? So you want to cut, you're actually going to go down with your housing to the 1/2 inch mark. Because remember here, we're going to be cutting at 1.5. It's a 1 inch piece. So you're going to be stopping my housing at the 1/2 inch. And then we'll rotate. And now I will cut this other part of the L. And I will come at 1.5. So don't line your housing up at 1.5. Line your housing up at 2.5, and puncture. You can also kind of see where you already cut here, and you can line up this white line on this side here. See where you're cut? It's lined up. So I'm gonna make sure I haven't moved. And 1.5. So that is going to go on this side. Just put it there so we know. And I'm going to take my little pieces here, and now I want to cut. Use anything you can to help you know which side you're cutting so we don't mess up. I'm going to just put those here. We're going to cut the rest. So this piece in the middle, okay, should be, this is 10.5 by 10.5. So we have a square. So what we want to do is we want to cut a border. And since it really doesn't matter, and I said I'm going to use the palm trees. Now, the thing with the palm trees, let's want to see something. This one here, I'm looking at the size. So this is 1.5 inches. I'll still have a little tiny bit, because I want to make sure I have enough to cut my mats. And I do have, if you see here, we do have a little tiny extra room here, so we should be good. So we are going to cut one of the palm trees. So I'm going to line up with that black mark in there. And this one you have to be very careful, because these palm trees are very delicate, so go slow. And sometimes it's better to pull it out so they don't get like that. See how it got stuck? Pull it out versus sliding it over and then slide it back in to map it out. So to match it, just take your time with this one. I can feel that one catching. Because we want to make sure this is down. Just have to be careful with it. Okay, I'm going to slide out. It might take a little longer to punch, but it's worth not getting it caught. And we have one more. Maybe. I can feel it catching when I pull it. Okay. Okay. We'll get rid of all of this. So I can see how big. I'm going to do them both the same. So I am going to rotate this, and I'm going to cut off 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. So this way I'll kind of see how much room I have. So I've got 4 1/4. So what I'm doing is I'm rotating, I'm cutting this way, right? So I'm going to cut E and F at 4 1/4, C and D at 4 1/4. So I have 4 1/4, and I'm going to cut at 4 1/4. And then we'll kind of see how much I have left for that. And then these two I can stack up, and we can cut these at, turn this back, I need a 6 1/4 and a 3 1/2. Right? So let's not get ourselves confused, because I rotated this. So I want to make sure that this piece is going to be 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, which it is. And they're not lining up nice. 6 1/4. And it's 4 1/4 down here. And this other one should be 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. So I can pull it over and go at 3 1/2. Make sure they're lined up. And I just cut them together. Okay, so those are our ones. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side of the page in reverse, right? So I want this to be 1 1/2, and I can cut on the right-hand side. There's enough room. So I'm going to go 1 1/2. Going to stop my housing at 1/2 inch, which will give me a 1 1/2 inch. I'm going to rotate that. I'm going to line it up again at 1 1/2. Make sure you're lining that up at 1 1/2. Now at this side, I can actually see where to line up, and I am at the 2 1/2 with the top of my housing, 1 1/2 inch here. cut that all the way through, and that will go on that side. Now I'm going to cut my border very carefully again, and we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the pinkish coral paper. We're going to cut our border and carefully take that out. There are some of the punches that are really, really delicate. And you just have to take your time so they don't rip and catch. See how that one caught again? You just have to take your time. And the next one. And one more. And I see I can feel it. When you can feel it, just don't yank on it. Okay, so that's it for the punch. Now we're going to finish cutting. So let's do exactly what I did in the last one. Let's rotate our cutting guide. We are going to cut this at 4 1/4, right? Because we're cutting the 4 1/4, 2 of them. 4 1/4, 4 1/4. So that should leave my 2 pieces like these are exactly the same size, so they'll be able to fit together. Yeah, perfect. And I got that one bent. See, they're exactly the same. Okay, so I have 2 of those. So I have these 2. I'm going to rotate. We're going to cut it at 6 1/4, right? Again, I already have the 4 1/4 inch pieces. I have the 4 1/4. We're going to go 6 1/4. So I have 6 1/4, and then I have 4 1/4, and I want 3 1/2. So I already have my 4 1/4. We're going to cut this at 3 1/2. My 3 1/2. Try to line it up. And we have those extra pieces. Okay, we have everything cut out. Let's dry fit this and see how that will look. And then we'll decide which direction we want this blue paper to be. I'm thinking if it's supposed to kind of be water. Oh, they're stuck to my hand. We may want to turn it this way. Well, let's see. And then these mats, I have my green mats. Let's turn this over. And let's see how this is going to go. Probably a way these match up. Yep, and that's it. And then we have the pinkish one here. Pinkish coral. Okay, so what we have is the dark border. And see, this border can actually overlap a little bit. See, this one didn't. It just fit in. We can overlap this a little bit if we want. We'll see when we get our mats on if that works. And I have a little bit of blue behind there, see? So what I have for mats, and I wanted to talk about the mats, is they've used, let me just see. Oh, see here. So for the mats, for the pink paper mats, they've used the reverse. So I have these, and actually and they're probably going to be over here. And even these ones, they've used the reverse. So we're going to be using the reverse for the mats. And the way that they're going to go is, so the green is number 1, which is the pink. So let's put these back. This is paper number 1 right here. This is paper number 2. So what we're going to do is for whatever you have here for A, that's going to be your 4 by 6 mats here. And then these 2 are going to go on the other side. And then we're going to do the reverse of these. So whatever's this one, the reverse, you're going to have that one there with these 2 here. And that's how easy this page is, right? Very, very simple to do. And I mean, there's all kind of punches I'm thinking that we can use. So you can see how this one differs from this one, right? Totally different color scheme. This one's a little bit more muted. We used a different punch. What I wanted to see, and even let me go back to this other one. See what I did here for 2 of them is I actually used a mat and I cut it in half, right? And that's why I have that blue one out if we wanted to do that. But I could actually see what else we have in here. Oh, this one I want to show. I'm going to use this one. I want to show you something else. But you could see if there's any other mats that you could use in here and cut in half like I did here. Like how far, like my journaling. That's how I journal. I put a little sticky note. I'm not good at journaling. So don't want to lose anything. So we could cut this one. We could use this. Also wanted to see. So what if we did this? What if we rotated them? What if your pictures are, the other way? Could we actually fit them in here? So let's see if we could do that. If we put them like this. So it's a little bit tighter. We can move our border up, kind of almost to the top. We could fit those in that way in case you had more vertical than horizontal photos. And there's nothing saying that this can't even be over top of that border a little bit like that also. See, I have it overlapping then. Because I was thinking on this one, so this is 6, cut this at 3. Cut it at 3. I was thinking this would even look really nice on one of these pages. You could mount it on the paper, or you could use this. So again, would you even kind of know that it's the same project recipe as the one, as this one? So we have that, and then we have this one. They could even be in the same book, and you may not even know that it's the same project recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. Again, you can look at here for the rest of where to put the embellishments, right? Even on this one, oh, let me show you something else before I put this one away. See here, because these are 4x6 mats, and these were like the smaller, the smaller photos. I actually, see, I put the bubbles. I used the sticker strip here, and actually this is stickers that I added on, and this will be my journaling whenever I get to journal. But I'm going to pause. I'm going to put that back together, the other page, and we're going to look at 3 different layouts from the same paper package. So I'll be right back. Okay, this one's all cut, and I have a cutting error, so it's a good teaching moment. So let's take a look at this one. So again, so we have our 1/2" L on the outside. We have our alternate color at the top. Then whatever color's up here is our 4x6s on the reverse. Whatever's over here is on the reverse. And look how much it took down that background that we might have thought was like really bright, and it's not. And then what we have here is the reverse and the reverse of these two. And then the one that I mixed up, I'm just going to use a mat for now, because I will tape this back together. I'm going to show you how to do that if you mess up. So what are some, again, when we look back at, what our other pages were, let's bring these ones in. Again, so different. So I was actually thinking when I put this one together, what about, let's take the mats off here. Like, what about if we turned this, because we had the palm trees, it was extra, and we put the palm trees down at the bottom. Right, and we move this. Since, I even put the palm trees at the bottom. Down here. And then it kind of looks like we have some water with the palm trees. And then these 2 mats go with the other page. So then we have, our big mats. And again, this can overlap a little bit if we need to. And we're bringing in color from underneath. Don't want to do that. Let's keep this one. But look how versatile, like how many different ways. I'm trying to find all the colors that go with this one. Oh, here it is. How many different ways we could actually do this page. And these have the 2 small ones here in the middle. Again, don't need to do it that way. We could overlap a little bit, right? We could turn them the other way if you wanted to, but there's a different way to do this. It doesn't have to be at the top. And I actually think I like the palm trees at the bottom better on this one. So then if we go back to this one here, and we're going to put those two pieces back together again and make a mat, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You know, here's this, and it's a darker color. What I wanted to do on this one, remember I thought this back would be too dark. Well, let's see if it's too dark. Let's turn this over and have a look and see what we think of this paper. And again, we'll have this. See if we think it. So you don't see this. I might move this up here because it does. This does disappear, right? But this might be a better page when we were turning them this way. How come this one's 4 1/4? How come this one looks different size? Oh, maybe this is not. It's 3 1/2. Oh, that's why. So let's turn this page. See what you think. So we can look at it this way. What do you think? I still think, I don't know, I think it's too dark. I like this subtle color over here coming through versus the dark. But again, lots of options you have. And all the differences that we had with the same paper pack, doing the same project recipe, but putting our pictures differently, putting our mats differently. Oh, that one I didn't cut down yet. It doesn't look like. Hang on, drop some paper on the floor. I need this. Let me see how big this is. This is supposed to be 4 1/4, and it looks a little bit bigger than 4 1/4. I didn't cut this one down. Okay, the rest look okay. This looks like it's 4 1/4. Okay, that's fine. It's just one I didn't cut down when I was cutting off camera. So if we put these back the way they show them here in the layout, you can't see. Then this one will go in here. This little one will go here. Oh, no, that one goes over here. This green one goes here. So this one is a mat. We could use it. It actually has a dark blue, but what I want to do is show you again. It's like you cut it wrong. How do you put it back together? So I'm just trying to match my pattern. I can match it better here. I had it match and then I moved it. So match your pattern. And let me bring this up here. And we're going to be using the light blue side. So this pattern is really hard to match. But nope, that is not it. This way. Isn't it? This looks like the right way. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I cut this wrong, I was trying to rush through this and cut it quickly, and I cut it incorrect, so I am going to use my photo tape. This is really old photo tape, but Creative Memories has it, and if you don't have, watch for it to come back, because I don't just use it for when I mess up. I use it for other things. So I'm doing it on the back, and the front part is not, and I'm actually not going to take the tape off yet. You know, the front part, you can't see the pattern that much. It's very subtle pattern. So I'm going to leave the tape on the back till I attach it to my page. And then what I'm going to do is make sure that this is, so I can pull it off again. Make sure that it is attached with no spaces. This is going to be a mat. You're not going to see very much of it. And then the other thing I could do is just go whatever and just use a mat from the mat pack. So that I have together. A little space up here. And then this piece is supposed to be 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it is like this because it has, so it is 4 1/4, so I need it to be 6 1/4. And now I've fixed my mat. Once I get a picture on that, nobody's going to see. And if you can see, and if it does bother you, get a mat from a mat pack, right? This mat pack had quite a few in here that, you know, should be able to work. You know, lots. It was the blue, so, and actually you could even just put a title there. right? We could just put a title there where I cut it wrong, doesn't matter. So lots of options of things we can use there instead. Oh, there's even that one. But so there's some choices. So we did with the same paper pack, we did the same project recipe, and we found how different it looked based on the type of punch you made, based on where you put your borders, right? Which way you put your pictures. So all different ways. And even here, maybe you want to fit them and they overlap like this. Like however you want to put them, you can make them fit. And maybe you want one side horizontal and one side vertical, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? This is just an idea sheet for you to follow. So I'm going to post all of the different pages the way we did them in my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook group. I'd love to see what you do. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you've subscribed. Happy scrapping, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.